A long time ago, I used to actually do assistance to other writers that were pretty much new to the industry that kind of needed to figure out where they were going because at least back in the old days, the hardest thing in the world was actually figuring out how to actually sell your stuff. And then I started to realize there's a lot of people out there who are much more interested in just learning how to actually write. So I started doing a whole bunch of mentoring and that kind of fun sort of thing. In the old days, I used to do it one on one. But then as the internet came along, I started doing help videos on how to actually do better writing. Because one of the problems we have with writing today um, and reading is there's some really bad stuff out there. And part of the reason for that is they're not actually getting any education on how to actually write. They've learned how to actually put two words together and then therefore they're writers. And the problem with that is we all end up having to, go through the sludge of this kind of information and try to figure out what's good and what's bad. So one thing I started doing was trying to help a lot of people. And like I said, in the old days, it was one on one. So I would help one specific writer who I actually started to believe in and thought they could do better. Then, as that evolved over time, I started realizing I could actually put this kind of feeler out to more and more people, and hopefully they would benefit from some of the many, many lessons I've learned over the years. And believe me, there's a ton of them. And so, one of the other things I started doing is I started thinking to myself, it might be really interesting to actually go into other mediums and other media and try to figure out the things they do well in writing and the things that could be improved. And so one of the side things I've been doing during the pandemic, the bug or whatever you want to call it, um, was I started actually following a lot of reaction videos. It kind of started when I was following reaction videos to um, Star Wars: The Old Republic videos that people kept posting. They'd see the cut scenes and then, or not the cut scenes, but the movies for the the games themselves, and then kind of react to these stories, which was really interesting because a lot of those stories were really well done. And so a lot of people got their first chance to actually comment on that. And the more comments you saw of that, the more you started realizing, hey, this is kind of interesting, and more people are probably interested in how other people think about certain things. And so then I started following reaction videos to music, which was really interesting because when people start finding music for the very first time, it's kind of neat to see their reactions to it. Again, some better than others. Then I also started watching reactions to people watching movies and television shows. And some of that's really, really interesting. So, what I thought I would do is I would do the same thing. And so, I'm going to start producing pretty much all of my reactions to a lot of the media that I actually see out there, and then kind of show you how a writer's perspective might be on most of these issues or on most of these media outlet avenues. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going over some of the television shows that I watch, some of the movies that I watch, and then probably doing some of the music. Part of the problem that I have with a lot of the reaction stuff that I want to be doing is I've seen a plethora of stuff already. So my first time reaction, which is first time viewing, is something that is really interesting when you actually watch those. Well, it's kind of hard to do that when basically I see way too many movies, or I've seen too many movies, seen too many television shows, and definitely heard a lot of different music. So I will try to find things I haven't actually seen before. or heard before or watched before, and try to do my reactions to that. What I may end up doing is going back to some of the things that I saw, but saw a long time ago, so my reactions are a little more, pointed towards that. Um, and then I may actually cover a bunch of things because I really want to, get into the how the writing was done on this particular episode or show. Probably not so much music because my writing of music is kind of old, way old. And I don't think that I'm the expert on that, but who knows? We may get into that as well. So I'm going to start doing these types of videos very, very soon. And I don't really know where we're going to go with it, but I just thought it'd be interesting, be a lot of fun, and it gives me something that's really a little more productive to do, because basically sitting around playing computer games or just reading books doesn't really offer a whole bunch of, great things in the long run. So hopefully you like these. What would really help, and I think I mentioned this once before, or I will mention it, what would really help is if you do have things you would like to see reacted to, and I will eventually get to a process of the different kinds of things I'm doing, like depending on how much feedback I actually get, I may actually delve into certain things that are a little different than I would normally have planned if it was just me making all the decisions myself. So we'll see where it goes. One of the things you will notice in the very near future is I will be cutting my hair. I don't have long hair most of the time, and the bug has kind of made that to the point of where I didn't get any haircuts because you really couldn't go anywhere to get one. I've already been vaccinated, so I'm not really too worried about that anymore. And pretty soon I'm going to end up back at work, which means I'm going to be pretty busy, but at the same time, I think this would be really interesting enough for at least me and anyone who actually would be interested in anything that I would normally be doing anyway. All right, so I'm gonna end it right there and then kind of move on from this point. Like I said, any advice people have that have been doing this sort of thing, or just you've watched it and you went, this would work better, let me know. Gladly share your comments in the video below. And I will be paying close attention to it, and I will try to respond to pretty much everything people share with me, unless it's, troll responses and stuff like that, but you know how that works. Anyway, so let's see where it goes. Hopefully you like it, and we'll see where we go from here.